What's going on, guys? B. Scott here with you on today's show. We got your quarterback sit start stream heading in to week number 17. For many of you, it's the championship week. I'm going to be going through the quarterback position, telling you which guys I like to start, a few sits, and a few deep stream options this week. So keep it locked and loaded right here at the first four downs. What's going on, guys, and welcome back. As I mentioned in the preview, we're going through your quarterbacks heading into week number 17. The way I like to do it, I like to roll through a lot of your must-start quarterbacks, just give them some face and tell you how great their matchups are this week, to be honest. And then I got a couple sit options and then stream options in really deep leagues if you're looking for a quarterback to stream. So before we get to today's content, don't forget, like the video, subscribe, share, thumb bell, and then comment. If there's a quarterback you want to hear more about, drop in the comment section. I'll be glad to give you my advice whether to start them, super flex them, start one quarterback over another, whatever question you have, drop in the comment section. I'll be glad to give you my advice. So let's start at the top. I like to start with your must-start quarterbacks, usually my roughly ranked top 10 to 12-ish, and then I'll get to some sits into some streams. So first off, Josh Allen at home, Atlanta Falcons. That's almost all you have to say. Atlanta Falcons, third most fantasy points allowed to the quarterback position. The secondary is terrible. Multiple touchdown passes for Josh Allen in 6 of his last 7 games, with the only game being the New England Win Bowl. So start up Josh Allen. You're going to be starting him anyway as a top 2-ish option, to be honest. Tom Brady at the New York Jets. Should bounce back here, 230 passing yards and 1 touchdown against the Carolina Panthers. Beat them pretty handily last week. But this week, they got the New York Jets. Honestly, hopefully they score 45, 50 points. 5th most fantasy points to the quarterback position. The Jets give up, so you're starting Tom Brady if you got him. Aaron Rodgers facing the Minnesota Vikings. Last time out, 385 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, and complained about his toe being hurt after the game, with a game like that. So Aaron Rodgers, you're firing him. 3 straight games with 3+ touchdowns. Minnesota Vikings, doesn't scare you. Aaron Rodgers, you're starting him. Patrick Mahomes at the Cincinnati Bengals, 8-1. 8 touchdowns, 1 interception over his last 3 starts. 250+ yards in those 3 starts as well. Cincinnati, they do give up the 4th most passing yards, and the defense shows up in spots, but if you drafted Patrick Mahomes as your QB1, you probably don't have better options anyway. Fire Patrick Mahomes. Matthew Stafford at the Baltimore Ravens. Did you see what Baltimore did last week? They gave up Joe Burrow 525 passing yards. Matthew Stafford hopefully could bounce back here. Had a few interceptions last week that, cost them some points, but they still ended up getting the victory. I like Matthew Stafford as a start this week. Baltimore gives up the 2nd most fantasy points to the quarterback position and the most passing yards allowed. So start Matthew Stafford. Kirk Cousins at the Green Bay Packers. Last time they faced them, 341, 3 touchdowns. That's what Kirk Cousins did in a shootout. This is in Green Bay. Maybe the weather plays a factor here, so maybe pay attention to that. But outside of that, you're starting Kirk Cousins. He's been great, 2+ touchdowns in 7 of his last 8 games. Jalen Hurts at the Washington football team. They give up the most fantasy points to the quarterback position, and Jalen Hurts has been great. He's been a top 10 option all season long. And honestly, with the rushing ability, his rushing floor is very safe. 10 rushing touchdowns on the season. Last time out, 296 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown, 2 rushing touchdowns against this Washington football team just a couple weeks ago. I like him as a start this week. You're going to be firing him. Joe Burrow faced the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, this is a worrisome spot because the Kansas City Chiefs defense played very, very well over the past month and a half of football. Burrow coming off his best game of his career, 525 yards, 4 touchdowns. They have outstanding playmakers on the outside, so I understand you're probably got to be firing Joe Burrow here. Kansas City, early in the season, was susceptible on defense to the quarterback position and giving up a lot of plays. Lately, they've been very stingy on defense. So this game, even though it smells shootout, could potentially be a decent defensive matchup, but you got to be firing Joe Burrow as a top 10 option. He's been great. Kyler Murray. This is where it gets tough. I got from my 9 to my 12 spot at the quarterback position, I got a lot of tough guys here. So first off, Kyler Murray. He's at the Dallas Cowboys. They've allowed 2 touchdowns just 2 times to a quarterback since week 6. Kyler Murray, 0 multi-touchdown games in his last 3. He just hasn't been playing and getting it done. Can you sit Kyler Murray, though? No. His floor is too high with his rushing upside. Hopefully this game gets out of hand with points, and that's what you hope here. So you got to be starting Kyler Murray. Dallas has been susceptible to giving up big plays, and they do give up points to an extent. So the defense makes a lot of turnovers, but they do give up points. They've been playing even more lights out since DeMarcus Lawrence has returned, but you got to be firing Kyler Murray. There's no way you can sit him. Dak Prescott, on the flip side of that coin, facing the Arizona Cardinals. He is at home, coming off a great game. 330 passing yards, I want to say. 4 touchdowns. Just looked outstanding. And the Dallas team as a whole put up 56 points on a Washington football team that, looks like the Giants at this point and is starting to pack it in. Arizona, The defense started to fall apart a little bit, allowed 2+ touchdowns in 4 straight games to a quarterback. And in that span, these quarterbacks, Andy Dalton, Jared Goff, Carson Wentz, Matthew Stafford. Now, 3 of those 4 quarterbacks are okay, and Stafford's pretty elite. But even then, if they're allowing 2+ touchdowns to those guys, you got to be firing Dak Prescott here. Hopefully he continues to build on last week and stays red hot. Justin Herbert. At my 11th spot, he's facing the Denver Broncos. Last time he faced them, 300+ passing yards, 2 touchdowns. But Denver's been very good, especially against the quarterback position. They've allowed 0 multi-touchdown games in 4 straight to quarterbacks. So they've held a quarterback to 1 or less touchdowns in 4 straight games. Denver Broncos defense plays pretty well. So it is on the road. Justin Herbert's at home, so maybe that gives him an advantage here. He does get his weapons back, hopefully. Maybe Mike Williams will be back and ready to play. Austin Eckler is off the COVID list, so that helps and bodes well. There's no way you're sitting Justin Herbert. He's the QB2 on the season, so feel free to fire him here. I would be hard-pressed to stream anybody over Justin Herbert. And then Russell Wilson, he's going to round out my 12 right at the 12th spot. It's just a safe bet here. 200+ passing yards, 2 touchdowns. That's probably what you're going to get with Russell Wilson. He hasn't exploded for anything larger than that, but he's been very consistent over the last month and a half outside of the Los Angeles Rams game just 2 weeks ago, in which I told you to sit him. He had no touchdowns in that game, but he's had 2 touchdowns in 4 of his last 5 games. So I could see another couple tutties here. I think he's going to finish right around 200 yards. Just a safe play for Russell Wilson if you got him at your 12 spot. If you want to take a chance with a couple of these, younger guys, really. My streamers are mostly rookies, but if you want to take a chance with this, with the younger guys, I understand. But Russell Wilson, he's a safe bet to finish right around there. Now on a few sit options, I got some quarterbacks I just wouldn't start and don't love in the matchup. First off, Ryan Tannehill, just 3 multi-touchdown games on the season, I want to say, and 2 of them came against the Indianapolis Colts. I don't like the outlook here. The Miami Dolphins defense played very, very well, and they're at home. So I'm sorry, Ryan Tannehill, there's no way I could trust him as a start this week. Taylor Heineke, facing the Philadelphia Eagles. Looks like Washington football team's kind of packed it in. There's talks that Kyle Allen could see the field a little bit. Now you're taking Taylor Heineke and splitting him down the middle with somebody else or even part of the production. No, thank you. Taylor Heineke's a sit. Matt Ryan at the Buffalo Bills. I just said, come on, man. Matt Ryan's played good against bad defenses and terrible against elite defenses. Buffalo defense really has been given up a little bit, but they still are an above average to elite defense, even without Tre'Davious White. So Matt Ryan, he's a sit for me. Baker Mayfield, Ben Roethlisberger, these guys, I wouldn't be starting them this week. This is championship week. You got to start your studs, and a lot of them have great matchups, so many of you probably don't even have to worry about this, but there are a few stream options, so I'll get to them. First off, Trey Lance facing the Houston Texans. If Jimmy Garoppolo is not to go, he looks like he's going to try and give it a go in practice today. We'll have to wait and see how that works out, but if Trey Lance is named the starter, I think he could have a decent day here. Now, the Houston Texans have been pretty decent against quarterbacks, especially on the ground, but we haven't seen the best of Trey Lance. We've seen him in one start against an Arizona defense at the time that was playing at an elite level. So what can you say from the Houston Texans? They still give up a lot of yards, a lot of big plays. They give up a lot of yards on the ground, especially the running backs. We know this, the most in the league. So I like Trey Lance, especially running up the middle, to have a decent floor game here and could finish, 70 rushing yards possibly. Maybe find the end zone on the ground. Then you add his ability to throw the football, all the weapons healthy, George Kittle, Deebo Samuel. So for me, Trey Lance is, I think, a really good sneaky sleeper option if you're in a deep league and need to stream a guy. I'm not telling you to stream these guys, honestly, over these elite talents up top, but in a deeper league or in a super flex, these are good options. Justin Fields faced the New York Giants if he's healthy, obviously dealing with an ankle injury. I like his outlook if he's back and healthy. 30 to 40 rushing yards is what he's been averaging over his last 4 or 5 starts. Played very well. The arm is coming through. He makes some big plays. He's got some explosive receivers. And on top of that, the Giants, they just stink as a football team. Overall, they've allowed multi-touchdowns to 3 of their last 4 quarterbacks that they faced. So I like Justin Fields as a good stream option if he's healthy. And then Davis Mills. I'm gonna go out on a limb here. Davis Mills, Stanford product. Now he's going home, facing San Francisco 49ers. Davis Mills played actually poorly on the road in spots this year against high-level talent, but at home he does play better. But he's been hot over the last few weeks. Back-to-back games with 2 touchdowns, 200-plus passing yards in 3 straight games. He did clear the 300-yard mark in one of those. San Francisco has allowed 230-plus passing yards in 6 of their last 8 games against quarterbacks, and they've allowed multi-touchdown passes to 3 of their last 5 quarterbacks. So I like Davis Mills as a good low-end flex-type option here. Really a sleeper pick that no one's going to think of. I like him as obviously a great super flex option. And in deeper leagues, I'm talking deep, 16 team, 14, 16 team, he could honestly finish with right around that 20 fantasy point threshold. I think 49ers defense does play a little bit better at home, but they're still a little banged up, especially in the secondary. So I like Davis Mills as a really sneaky sleeper option in deeper leagues. So that's it. That's my quarterback sit start stream heading in to the championship week. Start your studs, set it and forget it. Honestly, a lot of them, like I mentioned, have great matchups, so don't sweat it too much. And if you have any questions at all about any of these quarterbacks or ones that I didn't mention, drop in the comment section, and I'll be glad to give you my advice and to the best of my ability help you, hopefully on the road to your championship. And while you're there in the comment section, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, share, thumb bell for all your fantasy football information all season long. I'll have all the off-season stuff leading into the 2022 season. We're going to have some fun playoff stuff. We'll have the fantasy awards. We'll do all the good stuff. So for the first 4 downs, it's been B. Scott, and I'm out.